this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. 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 I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching Septum Sen versus the World. I'm Septum Sen. This is Kotobuki J.
Hi.
And we're here to show you what we got.
Yes, indeed.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Well, that's always a nice fitting animation there.
Isn't it?
Any case, we've got quite a bit to talk about this time.
You've got some good stuff.
And if you like our lighting, let us know. Do you like it better this time? Does it look like it's illuminating our wonderful faces? You know, showing all of the imperfections.
Yes, but we don't look all blotchy and drunk. It's nice.
That's because we're not at this point. But maybe by the end of the next video.
Ah, yes. Yes.
So I guess you're starting us off with our collections today.
Yes, indeed. And I'm starting off with something related to this month's Inside Movies Galore.
Yes.
We are doing...
I'm excited about this one.
Yes, we are doing Music Lovers March. And it so happens that I was given a few of the films that will be coming up on mid-month.
Yes.
Yes. As surrounding the primary selection, which is Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Excellent film.
We will also be doing
Pre-show.
Mad Max, The Road Warrior, and Mad Max Fury Road.
This isn't a pickup. This was actually from my collection.
Yes, and I already have Fury Road.
Yes.
But I now also have these.
So yeah, with the pre-show, we'll be covering the entire series. Matter of fact, we're going to be skipping Thunderdome so we can talk about that with its own full segment later on.
I just think we should just do one long segment. But whatever, we'll get that figured out.
There's no way we'll get everybody on board.
I will admit, I have never been blown away by this series. I actually saw Fury Road in theaters, and I was impressed. I liked it. But I did not think it was one of the greatest films of the year. And I've seen this one. It was good.
Yeah.
One of these two I've seen in parts, but I cannot tell you which one.
My father loved both of them. And I am okay with most of them, but I have a special place in my heart for Beyond Thunderdome, and it's the only one that I consider the music is like the huge standout, which is why
Tina Turner, so that makes sense.
And that's why it does get its own segment, because it's Music Lovers March.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And I admit, I am very curious to revisit these. That's one of the things that we like about Movies Galore is we either get to or have to, depending on how you look at it, visit all sorts of films.
Repo.
Okay.
So I wanted him to start with this because I wanted to... The reason why he's got these is I upgraded.
I am envious of this, actually.
Also, and downsized from my collection a little bit, which is this Mad Max High Octane collection, which supposedly has a whole bunch of special features, especially for this. Because it's pretty much this.
But
it came
didn't
up the
that
same
one
time.
already have a few?
Yeah, this one has a few, but it also has all the other movies. They're on Blu-ray, and they've got special features to them.
And this one already has quite a few.
So let's take a look at the size comparison. That's why I wanted them out.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge savings of space. I mean, we're talking like maybe that.
Yeah.
So about 2 DVDs worth of savings. But still, it's not bad to have even 2 cut down. That's
And
not
that fits
bad.
on more shelves.
Yeah, and it's also cool to upgrade, especially when I want to listen to the music involved in this particular. So I am looking very much forward.
And
to
doesn't
seeing
that
this.
have an alternate cut of Fury Road too?
Let's see here. Let's
I think it has a couple of alternate cuts actually.
see here. Fury Road HD, Black and Chrome, the Madness of Max on DVD. So it's kind of cool to see.
Good times.
And it's got 4K. Wow. It's actually a 4K. It's got a 4K disc for Fury Road on here, so that's pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to checking this one.
One thing I will give Fury Road was the sound and the visuals were impressive. I think it actually won a couple Oscars
Yeah,
on
it did. So that was another reason it had to be gotten.
Right.
And it was a great... We were talking about Me Too that was kind of ignored, but this one
Right.
wasn't ignored that much. It actually did this, had a female protagonist
Right.
that was really... She overshadowed Max and was a really good actress, and it really did good, I think.
Actually, the star of Bombshell, interestingly enough. Okay, so you're going. Oh, no, you just went.
Yeah, there you go.
That got confusing there for a minute. Okay, so tune in at some point this week where we will have our wonderful and enjoyable discussion of the best films of 2019. To prep for that, I happened to go to Best Buy and I came up with 2 films that I thought were going to be appropriate for the discussion. One of them I have my doubts about because it actually is a 2015 release, and I cannot for the life of me remember if it had a proper theatrical release here. I think it had a very limited theatrical release, like even by Fathom definitions. So I don't recall what year, if any, it was submitted for Oscar, which would be technically the year, So I didn't end up watching it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And this is a movie I've been wanting to see for a while called The Case of Hannah and Alice.
Ah, yes.
And this is a film about, Hannah and Alice. It has a association with an earlier show, but I cannot remember exactly what the show is. And apparently it's a loose association, so you can watch this as a standalone. Notable thing about this is that they filmed the movie was made through, I think, a process called rotoscoping, where they do like multi-angle cameras of actual actors and then animated it over, if I'm understanding correctly the process. So it supposedly has a very unique look. The series Flowers of Evil is the other one I know that they did the same process. And it supposedly is a flawed but fun movie, and I'm really looking forward to watching it. And I'll get to it sooner than later.
I may have that one. I may not have that one. I can't tell.
You can't tell.
I can't remember. I was craning my neck, but it would be like back there.
It would be way over, yeah.
And I don't think I do.
I'll look it up while you present your other one.
I don't think I do. This one is a big one. If you haven't figured out, I got a big old stack of Batman here. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
This one, I think, is a good one to downsize on the collection for.
Yeah, you don't have it. Yeah.
I got
Ooh.
this, which is a really cool release of the 80th anniversary 18 film collection.
Nice.
Now, I'm going to show the ones that I'm going to first off talk about the ones that I don't have, so I get to add Gotham Knight, Year One, Bad Blood. Let's see here. I'm looking for ones I don't have. Mystery of the Batwoman. Superman, Batman, Public Enemies, Superman, Batman, Apocalypse.
Nice.
So you see this nice list here on the back. 2 big old things,
Right.
all on Blu-ray. So what does it contain also that I have that I can actually thin out? Son of Batman, which I haven't even watched yet because it's about Damien. Screw Damien.
Yeah, screw Damien.
Batman Ninja. Good one. Batman the Killing Joke.
Ooh.
Good one also. Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which is awesome that I have it on Blu-ray now.
Yeah.
Batman Assault on Arkham, or the Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
Batman Return of the Caped Crusader, which was fun. Batman Under the Red Hood. This one I'm going to have to sell for a decent price. Batman versus Robin.
Right.
I got the one with the toy.
Talking about ones with friggin' Damien.
Yep. Batman Gotham by
I
Gaslight.
still need to see that.
Batman Harley Quinn,
Ah.
which is an upgrade because it was DVD.
Yeah.
Batman Dark Knight Returns 1 and 2.
Nice.
So, let me tell you about space saving. This versus this.
And you got new stuff in the bargain.
And I got new stuff in the bargain, and I
Nice.
upgraded on a number of them.
Now,
So-
to be fair, one of these is a huge-ass collector's edition, but...
yeah,
Still.
but even then, it would just be like
Right.
that.
Right.
So, even then, I would be saving. Oh, watch it. Thank you.
No problem.
I would be saving, if I was to take that off and just take one of these
Right.
instead up there, this would be the space I'd be saving. And that's if this was regular size.
Right.
So, that's pretty freaking impressive.
That is.
Now, we'll give this one thing. Batman vs. Robin does have the Court of Owls in it, which is pretty darn cool.
It's actually not a bad movie, but freaking Damien.
So, I am glad about this. I'm just going to have to watch me some freaking Batman
Right.
animated stuff. Batman was had a really good animated thing. We have my Batman animated series. That's a huge box.
But some of those are really good movies, too. No doubt about it. And
Oh.
Under the Red Hood's a classic. Assault on Arkham is what Suicide Squad should have been.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Some really good stuff. Any case. Now you
Good
can see how I wanted to add one.
Yes. That's fun.
Specific for that.
You must have got a good deal there.
That was actually
Okay.
$40, so it wasn't that good a deal, but it was decent for what all that. You get a lot in there for $40.
that's not bad.
That's what.
I mean,
that's
considering they usually
1,
sell
2,
each
3,
one for
4, 5,
$10
6.
or more.
9, 10, 11, 12,
Yeah.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 features.
Yeah.
That's a lot of features.
Nice.
And, they talked. It has a Batman Year One comic book, plus Dark Knight documentary bonus disc.
Oh, very nice.
Alright.
All right. So, actually, this is appropriate to follow the Batman, actually, because, so one of the ones I picked up is from 2019. Technically 2018, but it came in the U.S. in 2019, so we count it as 2019.
Yep.
This is one that is a visually stunning film. It's the new film from Zhang Yimou, and it's called Shadow.
Oh, yes.
And you can
Shadow.
kind of see a little bit of the visuals here. Just a little bit. But, like, if you watched, and if you didn't, you need to tune in, our discussion on Oh Brother Wart Thou. We talked about how they used a special process to digitally desaturate the images so that basically skin tone was still skin tone, but almost everything else was sepia tone, kind of golds and dusty color. I'm not positive that they used the same process, but I think they did. Because in this one, the skin tones are skin tones. The blood is red. Everything else, with just a couple little exceptions here and there, everything else is black and white. It's made to look like Japanese ink art. And it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And this is the guy that directed Hero, House of Flying Daggers, The Curse of the Golden Flower. He knows how to make a stunning film.
Hero is
And
pretty.
I cannot believe this was not at least up for an Oscar for the camera work. I mean, I'm sorry. I love the camera work in The Lighthouse. But if we're talking black and white cinematography, this kicks The Lighthouse's ass. So... I don't know what they were thinking, but This was really cool, and I actually picked up a 4K Blu-ray edition. I don't have a 4K player. There's no real need for me to have that disc right now, but having watched it on Blu-ray, I would love to watch it in even higher def. The fact that it has some gorgeous Chinese girls is just, icing on the cake. But it's a very Shakespearean film. It's very Shakespearean. If you think the end of Hamlet, that gives you an idea of the end of this one. It's very Shakespearean. But I enjoyed it a lot. It's slow moving, but I still enjoyed it.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. But is it as good as Hamlet 2?
Oh, well, a few things are.
So last week I actually talked about half of an auction. Well, actually, it was an auction that I won for Wet Movie Ones, and I think I covered 3 of those.
All right.
Now the other 2 are more well known, so I'm going to cover those 2, but in different things. So the first one is one I really wanted it for, which was The Haunting of Hill House, the Netflix series. This miniseries
that's a series.
Kicked ass. This was an excellent series. And I've heard that the second season, they're making it into an anthology series. It was supposed to be like just a one-time deal. But this thing was so well received that they had to keep going with it, for better or for worse. And with things like this, it sometimes goes for worse.
Right.
But it does have some extended episodes that were not on Netflix, so they even gave you reason to buy it on physical media, which is kind of weird. And I'm very curious. It's not even opened. My guess is this was something that he was sent by a company and never got to looking at it, which is a shame. If you are watching this Wet Movie One, you should, and you haven't seen this, you should check this out. It is on Netflix. I know you got a Roku. When you get moved, you should check this out because it is a really awesome series.
Okay. All right. Now, my next 4 have a theme, and my theme is I have an idea for a project we should do on this channel that I have shared with him. I've not yet gotten a confirmation that it will go forward, but the idea being that we could do year by year, go back, revisit films, revisit our top choices, and present to you an updated top 10 list. So along those lines, and along the lines of I had made this determination a couple years ago anyway, the determination being that I would really love to have my top 40 for each year. I've decided especially to focus on my top 20 for each year. So these 4 follow that theme. This would have actually been given sooner, but for some reason both orders were delayed. And it was one order that for some reason Amazon split into 2. I don't know why. But as sort of a happy birthday to me, I placed an order from Amazon. Just a small one. 4 movies. The first one is the last one I needed. I now officially have my entire top 20 for the year 2012. And I ended on a high note because this movie is freaking awesome. It's a movie that really should have gotten a lot more attention when it came out, and it didn't. And that was the movie called Ruby Sparks.
Ah, yes.
You ever seen this?
Yeah.
So this is, it's directed by Jonathan Drayton and Valerie Faris, written by Zoe Kazan, and Kazan stars in the film. I love the tagline here, she's out of his mind. Basically, Paul Dano plays a writer who has writer's block. And as a writing exercise, he starts writing his dream woman, only to have her come to life as Zoe Kazan. And so they start this weird sort of romance, And his parents are played by Annette Bening and Antonio Banderas, and they have never been. They were hilarious in this. I loved both of them in this film. It's just a nice little, delightful, lighthearted rom-com, but it's very creative. It's very different. It's not your typical rom-com. And I was after this one for a while, but it's kind of a rare release. You don't see it in the wild. Actually, these 4, only one of them have I ever seen in the wild.
This is This is why things like Amazon are a necessary evil, unfortunately.
Yeah. But very, very happy to have that.
So the other one, I don't know as much about, but I've heard things about it a little bit. Was Night Hunter with Ben Kingsley, Henry Cavill, Alexander Daddario, and Stanley Tucci, which is a heck of a cast there. From what I've heard, this one kind of slipped under the radar. Might not even have gotten a theatrical release, according to what Kim said, which may or may not have. I haven't looked it up. But, also sealed. It looks interesting. Henry Cavill stars an action-packed thrill ride that will shock you at every turn. I believe this is one of the ones he had the mustache for. Right. You can see a mustache.
A full-on
beard
there, yeah.
When police detective Marshall and local vigilante Cooper arrest a serial killer targeting women, they discover his game has just begun. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
So, if any of y'all have seen this, let me know how it is. I'm just curious.
Okay, my next one was a 2013 release, and if I recall correctly, it's part of a trilogy. I already have and have presented on this channel another film in that trilogy. I have not seen the third one, but this one, I believe there's one. I believe Nebraska is the last one I need for top 20 on that year.
One I also got from what movie?
The thing is, Nebraska is so easy to get cheaply.
Yeah.
That there's no point in getting it on Amazon when it's $9, which it was when I looked.
Yeah.
But I will be getting Nebraska soon. But for now, this is the only other one I was missing. Again, I've never seen this in the wild. This is a film by Tobias Lindholm. It goes along with the film that I've already presented on here called A War. And this one is called A Hijacking. And like A War, it stars Pilo Asbæk, and it basically, if you can think of a Dutch, more artsy take on Captain Phillips, it's basically that sort of deal. It's about these. It's about a cargo ship hijacked by Somali pirates, and it's really good. Really, really good film. Captain Phillips was a really good film too, but this one's, like I said, the slightly artsier version because you have to read it. But
it's sad because of South Park, I can never get the Somalian Pirates song that he sings.
Oh, jeez.
Out of my head whenever I hear that.
Right.
Somalian Pirates, we.
Okay.
It's terrible, I know, but it's just there. The last 4 I have are from the 2019 year, and they're films that I was watching in preparation for this video. Well, not this video, but you know which one it is. So the first one is Child's Play. The reboot. Which has Mark Hamill playing Chucky. So the original Child's Play is about this killer who has this knowledge of hoodoo, and he uses this black magic, since he knows he's dying, to transfer his soul into a doll, Chucky. Well, he doesn't want to be in a doll. He wants to be in a human body, so he finds a boy because the boy's soul is not there yet, that he latches on to in order to complete a ritual where he transfers his soul into the boy and gains human life again. So that's the premise of Child's Play, essentially. And the first film was creepy as all get out until the doll spoke. Then all creepiness went out the door because it became comical after that. And the series went comical, more comical until Seed of Chucky ended that. And then they had 2 of them. I saw one. I haven't seen the Cult of Chucky, which was the last of the newer breed. But the Curse of Chucky was actually quite creepy. They went right back to that creep factor again. This one reboots it as this is an artificial intelligence run amok. And it's alright. It's got some creepy moments to it. Most definitely. Though, I kind of like the campiness in the series better. I don't know. I mean, it's okay.
So does Hamill play it more Joker or more Hal 9000?
It's closer to more Hal 9000. I mean, he doesn't come across with an attitude. It's just more of it's the doll, you know. I'm your friend. I'm Chucky, and that sort of thing. And you're my best friend. And he's just, it's creepy. I'm not gonna get. I mean, it really is creepy, but it's not the child's play I've enjoyed.
They really should. What's the kid's name?
Oh gosh, what is it? Danny or what is it?
Sounds close to Dave.
Here. Andy.
No, they should have named him Dave so he could say good morning, Dave. Okay, so my turn. This one I did see in the wild briefly after its release, but it's become fairly rare since then. This one and the next one are both ones that were near the top of my list and got no Oscar love, and I thought they got reamed. Like this one, I can't remember if it was up for an Oscar for foreign feature, but it was talked about. And I know Ruby Sparks was widely talked about as a snub for original screenplay, but these 2 just weren't even talked about, and that was just wrong. And the first of these is, well, a French film. And it's the film that I believe you have, April in the Extraordinary World.
Cool.
I love this movie. I really did. I thought it was such a good movie. And it just fell completely off the map by the time Oscars came around. I don't know why. But it's a very interesting and unique, very sci-fi heavy. The animation style is very interesting and different from what we are generally conditioned to expect. And I have not yet watched the English dub, which has a pretty high wattage cast. I think. I honestly can't remember, but I don't think I watched it in English. But either way, I do need to watch both languages once I get this opened and ready to watch. But the French have come out with some pretty good animated features. And they are one of the very few countries that has got some Oscar love other than the U.S. But they overlooked this one.
You know, I don't know. Every time you say about in the wild, I picture you with a rifle, hunting around in like Second and Charles with a pith helmet on. Just like,
Crikey! He bit me on the nose!
There's one right there. Hold on. I've got it.
Right.
So the next one that I was watching that kind of got some hate on from people is an animated film called Secret Life of Pets 2.
I haven't seen that yet. I have a copy from the library, but
I don't understand why the hate on, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's exactly what you would expect from Secret Life of Pets 2. Secret Life of Pets did disappoint me because I was hoping for more than I got, but why should I be hoping from Illumination? Well, actually, no, there are reasons.
Illumination.
Because Illumination did really good. They had the Despicable Me series, for goodness sakes. Those are really decent movies. So I was expecting more from the original. This is more of the same, so I really don't feel like it was a letdown. As a matter of fact, I like this one better than the first one in some ways because I wasn't let down. This is exactly what I was expecting.
I'm still surprised that was greenlit as quickly as it was, and that they moved forward with Kevin Hart, even with all the stuff that was going on with him.
Yeah.
But they did chuck Louis C.K., which that might be part of the reason for the hate, is the main character had to be recast because of... yeah.
Well, you know, there's reasons.
Okay, now, this movie very much disappeared very quickly because of people being stupid. and it pissed me off because when I saw it, it was awesome. This is also part of a thematic trilogy, much like A War and a Hijacking. Taylor Sheridan did a trio of screenplays that were released in successive years, each one with a different director. Denis Villeneuve put out the phenomenal film Sicario, which was awesome, got a couple Oscar nods, it should have won some. Then Hell or High Water got all the love, even though it was the weakest of the three, I think. And then Sheridan himself came back and directed this little film, which is called Wind River.
Oh.
And this film, it co-stars Olsen, the Olsen. Why am I drawing a blank on this? Elizabeth Olsen. Why did I draw a blank? And Jeremy Renner. And it features a phenomenal, like, show-stopping scene with Gil Birmingham. Birmingham could have been a nod for supporting actor if I believed in doing that for one scene, basically. But this is a film. Basically, it follows. Olsen is a rookie FBI agent who comes out to the Wind River Indian Reservation, where Jeremy Renner is a local tracker who's very tied to the community, and they're forced to work together to investigate a disappearance. And the film is inspired by the chilling statistic. I don't know the statistic off the top of my head, but suffice it to say, a lot of young women go disappearing off of these reservations, and it's very disturbing. And this is a really good film. It's a really good thriller. It's very suspenseful. It features great acting. It's well directed. And the film, despite the fact that it followed those two high-profile films, no one heard of it. It came out and sank without a trace. It had the extreme misfortune of being a Harvey Weinstein produced film that came out right when that whole thing happened.
Bad timing.
Terrible timing. And it's criminal shame because this is a great film. And I'm glad I got it. Again, I've never seen this in a while because it just, you're not going to probably. But I do highly recommend all three films in that trilogy. They're all phenomenal. Sicario is the best of the three, but very, very happy there.
Well, speaking of going off the reservation, we have a film called Penguin Highway.
Ooh, that's a good one.
This was quite a strange film.
Yes.
I remember you actually brought it over for the 2019.
Right.
And, well, yeah, it debuted in the theaters here in 2019. Yeah. It did not any elsewhere.
Right.
Of course, it was 18 elsewhere.
Right.
So I'm willing to keep it bent because I'm bending some of my own rules for it too. Because I'm not going Oscar rules for mine. Because otherwise I wouldn't have half the films I have.
Basically, if the film had an Oscar qualifying theatrical release, I kept the rules. But if it didn't, I went with first release.
So, this is a pretty decent film. He discussed it on his pickup. I'm not going to discuss it much more than that. We're running over time anyway. But it's a fun
power.
One. It's a fun one. Whenever you have Penguin in there, it's always going to be some strange stuff.
Yes. Penguin power. I love that concept. Speaking of weird as hell anime, my last one's a big one. And this is one of the reasons why I was so pressed for time the last couple weeks and didn't get as many videos in as I wanted. And it also got in the way of my NIS video, I have to admit. So, a couple months back, he presented a big pickup that made me very, very, very jealous. So I tried to at least partially catch up. I made an offer to someone on eBay. I probably ended up making a very slight good deal, although the shape of the first one of these leaves something to be desired. But I finally finished watching the other night, and I got Monogatari.
Very cool.
First season. and Nisei Monogatari.
Very cool.
Yes, very, very, very cool. This one is in excellent shape and even has a little wraparound. This one, the freaking box is warped. And it makes me wonder if maybe they tried cleaning it or something.
Like, yeah, usually they don't do that if there's some damage.
Yeah, that is very upsetting to me. It's in excellent shape otherwise, but it does have that the box is warped, and that really ticked me off given how much I paid for these. It was not as good a deal as you got, especially because it's only the 2 parts. But I am intrigued. I have finally started watching this. Of course, this is a series. He talked at some length about it.
Oh, yeah.
I like how Bakemonogatari is a play on words. It's like Bakemono is monster and Monogatari is story. So they kind of, and then each one kind of, Nisei Monogatari, basically you could translate liar's tale. And it really is all about liars and deceit in this one. And one thing I will say about this series, 2 things that have to be said. One, it is weird as shit.
It is.
It is weird.
You see what I was talking about, though? How it kind of has a quality that's, what was it? Zetsubo Sensei
yes.
and what's the other one?
And you said Maria Holic.
Yeah.
Yes, but more so.
Oh, yeah. A lot of run-on.
I'm thinking more like F and Fireworks, the kind of ones where they went excessive.
I mean, you gotta really pay attention to that dialogue. It's
I'm thinking more along the lines of art style.
Yeah.
Like they have characters pose in. It makes no sense the way the characters pose half the time. And there's a lot of the main characters an unrepentant pervert.
Oh, God, yeah.
And a couple of the other characters are very perverted.
I have a hard time liking most of the characters because there's something dislikable about all of them.
Most of them are likable, but they're deeply flawed. Deeply flawed. But another thing I will say is I love the music. I love each one of the girls has their own opener, and and then you have the sister who is the quote unquote Phoenix. This one has and then the other one who is the snake girl.
It's
this
like
one,
new opener.
I loved both of their openers. They both had excellent openers, but all of them had good openers. And I really, 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 really loved the ender of the first series. Not just the music, but like the art was actually really cool for that particular one, especially because it's really cool when you get to the episode where you realize, wait a minute, these are not just random lyrics. This is like the soundtrack to this episode, which was kind of a cool thing they did. Cool. So I was excited. I've got a little piece of the series now.
Well, if you ever feel like you want to watch the stuff in between those two, I do have, all of it. So yeah.
Well, I hope to get eventually.
The movies are the easiest to track down and the least expensive. So you could probably, you get them you can get them for $30 a piece. That's,
Really? The movies?
At least that's the last time I saw them.
Okay, I hadn't seen them that cheap, but anyway.
Well, either way, I like the movies probably the best out of it because it's kind of a cool backstory.
Well, Shinobu is a fun character. She's the vampire, and I think she's the one that's featured. A vampire who, for whatever reason, is obsessed with donuts.
They go into that.
Yeah.
So... My last one is probably one that you have as a high ranking, and maybe even in your top 10 for 2019, which is the film Everybody Knows.
Ah.
This is a Spanish film with, of course, Xavier Bardem, Penelope Cruz, and Ricardo Darin. And essentially it's about a family. They go in for a wedding. One of the family members is abducted, and you find out that a lot of the family is made up of scumbags. As you find out with a lot of families. And it's a hard movie to watch. And I can understand why it's liked, but I didn't like it. So, but you'll find that out in the video that's upcoming.
Oh, okay.
But that's all I got to say about that.
All right. So we are, I guess, ready to start that video, aren't we?
Yeah, so y'all
Okay.
have to pay attention Friday because we got a big one coming up.
Yep.
In any case, we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Goodbye.